Hey there, this is Fundy, Andrew Funderburg from Fundy Software. I'm sitting here with Seishu. We're talking about albums and the consultative process of selling albums. So, first you always want to start selling your album during the consultation, before they've even booked you. You're showing albums, you're talking about the different album sizes, you offer the different leathers available, cool covers, everything that you love about your albums. And one of the things you need to really make sure of is that you're picking up your albums and that you're handing them to the prospective client yourself. You're putting it in their hands so they can feel and touch the album and get close-up looks at it, because albums are one of the few tactile products we have, and when people are touching, feeling, and experiencing something, they have a much greater chance of purchasing it. Also, one of the things that you really need to communicate to the client at that point, even before they're your client, is what album is the most popular album in your studio. What albums, how many pages most people are getting in their album, so that people know what to expect. People, they just say, oh, a 10 by 10, 30-page album. They, get that in their mind, and that's all they want. But that's not really, that's a pretty small album for a wedding, and doesn't give you a chance to really show off your art. So you want to tell them what most people are doing. Most people are getting a 12 by 12, or most people are getting a 10 by 14 horizontal album, and most people are getting, one of these two metal cover upgrades. Most people end up with about between 40 and 50 pages. So you need to let them know what most people are doing, because they don't know. They're getting married for the first time. They have no idea. And so it's that beginning consultative process that starts the whole album buying process. And if you don't do that before they book your wedding, it's going to be much harder to sell the album after the wedding. And then they book you, sign the contract, and when they sign the contract, they have a certain amount of album credit. I recommend always give album credit, never give an album. So if you say this package comes with a 10 by 10, 30-page album, that's all they're ever going to want. They're never going to upgrade, and if you try to get them to upgrade, you come off as a salesman. So you give them album credit, and you tell them, okay, you have this much album credit, okay? It's going to be this much more to get this album. Most people are getting this album with this extra cover. In order to get that, it's going to be this much extra per page and this much extra for the cover. So you're letting them know how much it's going to cost in the end, and they are going to start expecting and budgeting for that album. And then, so they're expecting that, you give them the album pricing before the wedding so they can start mulling it over. After the wedding is done, you call them up and you say, okay, wedding was fantastic, love your images, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to start designing your album so that you can see it. Were you more interested in the horizontal or vertical album or square format, right? You didn't ask them if they wanted to buy an album. What format do they like the best? Okay, great. I like the horizontal, great. I'm going to start designing horizontal. I'm going to design between 40 and 50 pages and just see how it ends up. If you don't like any spreads, you can take them out. We can end up at whatever page length you want. I'll start designing that. I'm going to have that for you in 10 days. 7 days later, you send them an email with a link so they can view their album, or you invite them in, even better, to see that album. They decide how many pages they want, you agree on the price, you have them sign an album contract. They say what album they're getting, how many pages they're getting, what cover they're getting. They double check everything and they sign off on it as a contract. Because if you're ordering a $400 album at your cost and you have to reprint that, you've just lost half of your sales. So, well, not half of your sales, but you've lost a quarter of your sales probably. So make sure you have a contract. When the album comes, if at all possible, you hand deliver the album. If at all possible, if you can deliver the album to the bride's place of work, all their co-workers are going to see it, you're going to come off as a hero, everybody's going to love you. Fantastic. Another great thing to do is places like Fineo offer like a little 4x6 self-mount album with 10 pages. They're like $25 or something like that. Buy one of those, put your 10 favorite images and give it to the bride as a gift. All she's going to do for the next month is show all her friends what a wonderful photographer you are. So that's my basic from A to Z of how to sell albums and how to keep albums as a revenue generating stream in your studio. So enjoy. Thanks, Seishi, for a great platform for videos like this. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.